At the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharatah abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrujamyaham. Krishna says, whenever there is decline in righteousness and an increase in unrighteousness, at that time I manifest myself. When the divine comes down as Avatar, whether it be as Rama, as Krishna, as Varaha, Matsya, Vamana, or as our dear Swami, it is only for one purpose. Every avatar has a mission. The mission to teach mankind the truth about love. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Shubhada S.Kumar with us to enlighten us on the topic about Avatara Mahima. Dr. Shubhada S. Kumar has been born in the 4th generation of a Sai family of Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Since early childhood, her parents introduced her to the beautiful world of Sai Bhajans, Veda chanting and Seva, which helped her embolden her faith and her love for Swami. Shubhada's sister is an alumna of the Sri Sathya Sai Balvikas and has been blessed with the opportunities to offer dance dramas and musical offerings in the immediate divine presence of Bhagawan Baba. She has the distinction of being an alumna of the first batch of Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation. She is also a national resource person for the Sri Sathya Sai Samyuktha Shruti Shreni, the Veda learning portal, since the year 2020. As a specialist dentist, she has been blessed to participate in medical Seva camps in Nagar and Ladakh several times. Currently, she is pursuing her MDS in oral and maxillofacial surgeries from Bengaluru, India. Over to you, sister. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Offering my most humble and reverential pranams at the lotus feet of my beloved Lord and Master, the Lord of the universe, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Offering my salutations to my beloved parents, revered elders, and my dear sisters and brothers. A very warm and loving Sai Ram to you all. Thank you, sister, for the warm introduction. Before I start at the outset, I must admit to you all that the instrument is definitely Shubhada today, by Swami's grace, but the speaker is Sri Sathya Sai. And I must also confess that I have no knowledge or wisdom that I can share with you all. I am only going to be parroting whatever the inner Swami in me has been prompting. Let me begin by congratulating all of you on this glorious day, the glorious occasion of the Avatar declaration of our beloved Bhagavan. My grandfather, Sri R.C. Nair from Bhopal, has authored a book named Liberator Sai. In that book, he has exalted this day of 20th of October as the day of days. And why shouldn't he? For is this not the day that the Lord of the universe has chosen to gift himself to humanity? On this day of 20th of October, Bhagawan returned from his school. As a young boy, he returned from his school rather early, and standing at that doorstep of his house, he declared he was no longer Satya, he was now Sai. Sai, the divine mother and father. Sai, the ultimate manifestation of Shiva and Shakti. After he stepped out of his house, his sister-in-law and his brother implored to him that he should not leave them, he should not leave their house, he should not leave them and go away. But Swami left the house, left the shackles of Maya, and he walked into the gardens of the then excise inspector, Sri Anjaneyulu, and there was a rock in the garden where Swami chose to sit. Flocks of people, neighbors, people from all across the village came to know of this new development, and they flocked and rushed to the garden and they sat around the boulder. They were overjoyed to see the beautiful halo, the radiant form of their Lord. As they were feasting on the beautiful, effulgent form of our Lord, Swami made it so that their joys rose to the skies. Swami gifted to humankind the first bhajan. Manas bhajare Guru Charanam. Manas bhajare Guru Charanam. Dustara bhava sagar taranam. Dear sisters and brothers, this bhajan is a historic event. Not just because it gives the promise of deliverance across the ocean of samsara, but it also tells us the first tool that Swami has given us to realize his avataric mission, the Mahima of this beautiful incarnation, this beautiful form. The most potent, the infallible, the most sure-shot way of realizing him and his divinity, which is sadhana. Sadhana, be it individual or communal, has a distinctive way of helping the devotees experience the divinity within them. We live in a world today at a time where instant gratification is the norm. Be it food that is instantly available. Do we want conveyance? It is available at the click of a button. Whatever, if we need some goods being delivered to the house, it is available on our palm tops. We live in a world of instant gratification. But Swami, our beloved Swami, he had already thought of this norm. He already knew of this norm long back. And he gave us the gift of sadhana, which would give us instant bliss, instant happiness, should we indulge in them. Where else have we felt instant joy after wholeheartedly singing a bhajan? After a rigorous session of Vedam chanting, do we not feel charged and clarified and calmed and composed all at the same time? Is it not a new form of ecstasy, of happiness? After a thorough meditation, say, like Swami has instructed, Jyoti meditation, do we not feel that every strand of our being is completely disentangled and fresh and ready to take his energy, his love into us? These methods are not just instrumental, but they are highly, highly effective in not just helping us realize his love, but also to live and bask in his glory, his Mahima. And brothers and sisters, it is only Swami who can be so benevolent to allow not just a reward at every step of the sadhana. Whatever sadhana we take up, we are rewarded every day, every moment that we dedicate to it. However, but also the process, the entire journey of the sadhana is also made beautiful. The wait, the yearning, the perseverance, the persistence, the patience, the humility that a journey of sadhana needs, that is still intact. We are still able to experience all of it. Speaking of journeys, I'm reminded of this journey that the Seva Dals and doctors from the Sri Sathya Sai Seva organizations take to the lands of Ladakh. By Swami's grace, I have been fortunate enough to be a part of a few. And anybody who's a traveler, who is inquisitive about Ladakh, who knows about Ladakh, would know that the tough terrains of Ladakh and the climatic conditions do not allow people to reach Ladakh and immediately get going into their plans. Ladakh has very harsh climatic conditions, low atmospheric pressure, and it demands that people come, stay there, rest for a while, get acclimatized to the climatic conditions, to the atmospheric pressure, to the low soluble oxygen present there. And only once people have completely submitted to that land does it allow people to go around it and have a look at it and explore it. However, when the doctors, the senior Seva Dal and the young brigade of the Sri Sathya Sai Seva organizations, whenever they've gone to Ladakh, it is marvelous, it is surprising to everybody around to see that the moment they land on the airport, they spring right into action, and there's no exaggeration whatsoever. The second they land on the airport, the young brigade is busy and already charged and pumped enough to arrange for the luggage, to collect the luggage, to escort all the seniors to the vehicles, to ensure that all medicines that are being carried, all equipments that are being carried, all the luggages of everybody is well taken care of, and it is delivered into the vehicles that would take them to the destination. The locals and the officials there, they're always shocked and surprised beyond understanding. It is beyond their ken to understand how these people who are coming not just from parts away from Ladakh, they're coming from the farthest part of India. They're coming from Kerala, they're coming from Bangalore, they're coming from Andhra Pradesh, they're coming from Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, which extremely different, stark difference of climates they're coming from. And how do they adapt so suddenly, so immediately, and how are they not affected by it? Because when people rest and get acclimatized, even so, they are advised not to indulge in activities that would require a lot of oxygen. They're not allowed to make sudden movements. They're not allowed to lift heavy articles, not even walk briskly. And here is our team, which is sprung right into action, is leaving no stone unturned, and chanting Swami's name full-throatedly, wholeheartedly. Every breath is being dedicated to Swami, and they're going on and on and on, and they're not being tired, they're not fatigued, their health is not compromised in any way. They all keep wondering. Little do they know that it is our beloved Swami who has given us two potent tools, one being sadhana. Sai bhakti se shakti pana. From devotion to Swami, we draw all energy. We ensure that we are charged enough, energized enough to take on any tasks. And the second is the intent for seva, selfless seva. Seva is the second tool through which we can realize, we can achieve, we can feel in our bones His love, His manifestation. And after the seva is completed, all of us throughout the seva, we're all taking Swami's name, we're all chanting, we're jumping around. There's no casualty, touch wood, by Swami's grace whatsoever. Seva is that tool which takes us all through the vagaries of life. Seva is that boat which ferries not just the boatmen, but also passengers across. Seva is that beautiful flower that will not just impart its fragrance to the hand that is making the offering, but also make fragrant the subject of the offering. And what bigger example of selfless seva than Bhagawan himself? His life is his message. Swami has established medical institutes, educational institutes, there are water projects, there's Grama Seva, and there's so much more that we can talk about. We can go on talking about it endlessly. The main point there is that the Seva is being rendered selflessly. Swami has told us that in Treta Yugam, the animosity, the negativity, all the hostility was between two groups of people from different lands, different countries, from today's understanding. In the Dwapar Yugam, two groups of people from the same clan were fighting against each other. There was so much of negativity there. In this Kali Yuga, however, the negativity, animosity, all hostility, everything is present within the individual. One has to be careful. However, on the flip side, it is not just the negativity which is present within. All positivity, the essence of all goodness also is present within the same individual. All we have to do is tap into it and it will express itself. Swami has been the greatest example of it. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to build a hospital. He doesn't have to build any educational institutions. But he has still done it to show us that if we have the intent, if we have the good emotions, the good thoughts, the dedication to do selfless seva, we are at liberty to do it. Seva can be in any form. You can guide them to go to a certain hospital. You can tell a person that this is the way to their destination. You can stop the vehicle and allow somebody else to go. You can speak a kind word to somebody. You can give a patient listening to somebody. You can give words of affirmation to somebody. Seva is an opportunity which is ceaseless, endless, fathomless. We can go on and on and on. And the opportunities for Seva will never end. That is Swami's promise to us. However, there is one condition. Seva absolutely has to be selfless. Only selfless Seva is Seva in Swami's vision, in Swami's, for Swami. I'm reminded, having read of an incident where Colonel Joga Rao was a very great ardent devotee of Swami, a very close aide of Swami, and he was very closely associated with the establishment of the hospitals, Swami's hospitals. Now he was very concerned that Swami had already declared that a hospital would be established, not just established, it would be working, and the first operation would be done the next year in just a span of 1 year. And this gentleman had been thinking that not even the planning has been done. Nobody has even thought of it. And the entire process from planning to execution, everything to inauguration, everything has to be completed within 1 year, just a span of 1 year. He spent several sleepless nights. Another worry of his was the lack of funds. Where would we get the funds? To offer free services to people requires a lot of funds. To run a hospital requires a lot of funds. To perform the kind of operations and procedures that Swami is speaking about requires a lot of funds. It can't be procured very easily. So he, in his utmost humility and the best of his intention, he went and requested Swami. He had a suggestion. He said, Swami, with your permission, we will have 2 wings. One wing will cater to people who have the affordability for the healthcare that is being offered. And the other wing will cater to people who don't have the affordability and the ability to, for the healthcare that is being offered. To this, our beloved Swami, he made the greatest statement ever. His love can be palpated through this statement, I feel. He said, divinity does not compartmentalize humanity. God will never ever discriminate between his devotees, is what Swami has promised and told. And that is the lesson we need to take. Swami says, love all, serve all. There's absolutely no exception. This commitment of loving all and serving all It has to be absolute in the sense, we have seen Swami's hospitals, there are no cash counters whatsoever. We have seen people studying in Swami school with no educational fees whatsoever. And that unconditional seva has to be offered. But at a human level, it is very difficult to do that. If I suppose think that there has to be a system where everybody has to be given free health care as a doctor, if I think that, there's so much things to be thought of, there's so much of deliberation to be done. How do we do it? Should we give up on the thought then? Should we give up on the idea of offering selfless seva then? I think that takes us to the third tool, the most important one, which is surrender. Surrender to God is the ultimate way of doing whatever we want to without being held back by the fruit of the action. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Do your deeds, don't worry about the fruits of action. This is what Swami has told us even in the Bhagavad Gita. There's a story, this is actually a story of how my family was brought into Swami's fold. Way back in 1965, my maternal grandfather, Sri R.C. Nayar's younger brother, was fighting a war with Pakistan. He was posted at Sialkot, Kashmir, and he was posted there while the war was being fought. And my great-grandmother was in utmost agony. Now at that time, there was a picture of Swami which had come in a fortnightly magazine, and my grandmother had very lovingly framed it and kept it at the altar, and my grandmother and my great-grandmother would offer prayers to it every day. Not because they had any experience with Swami before that, but they knew that this was divinity and they were pious women, so they offered prayers every day. Now during this war, the norm was the names of the martyrs would be announced all day long in the radio transistor. Now that was a very convenient but also a very agonizing situation, because all day long people would sit with the transistors and wait, praying that their family members' names should not be announced. It is unimaginable agony and anguish. There was nobody who could quell it. There was no way that could be stopped. It was so agonizing. My great-grandmother knew that this was divinity. She wrote a letter to Swami on the 14th of September 1965. I still remember it is dated like that. She wrote a letter to Swami. She first apologized, saying that Malayalam is the only language known to me, so please pardon me. However, there are so many mothers, so many daughters, so many sisters, so many people who are in utter anguish because of their family fighting at the war front. Why is my country being put through this? Why can't you, if you are divinity, why can't you put an end to this? Why should we go through this? Please stop this. Make my son safe. Make my people safe. Make my country safe. If you are God, you should do this. And she wrote that letter. She placed it at the altar in front of Swami's photo, and she went back to sleep. That night, Swami comes in her dreams, and Swami says, Aragade Amma, tomorrow morning, 9:15 sharp, there'd be a ceasefire. And brothers and sisters, there was a ceasefire 9:15 sharp the next day. My grandfather's younger brother was there with the utmost, sincerest intentions for seva. He had gone there to serve his country. But had it not been for the surrender of his mother, this seva could not have been completed. He would not have been left alive to offer much, much more seva in the times to come. Surrender is that key which takes us through this process of sadhana and seva. But surrender has to be absolute. There are going to be so many factors that are going to be holding us back. We can't give in to them. Bhagavan has beautifully, lovingly assured us in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyami ma shuchaha. He says, leave everything to me. Come to me, come to me and leave everything to me. I will take care of everything. I will absolve you of all sins. Don't worry, is what he says. Ma shuchaha, don't worry. How lovingly he has told us that. Taking these 3 points, these are the 3 points that I have taken from the avataric mission of Bhagawan. And I feel that if I have to manifest his love and his glory and bask in his glory all the time, it is essential that I resort to these 3 tools that I have been blessed with by Swami. On behalf of everybody, I will offer these prayers to Swami that he should guide our sadhana, inspire our seva, and remind us to surrender to him time and time again. Vishad kale sakha tvameva bhayandhakare prabha tvameva. Vishad kale sakha tvameva bhayandhakare prabha tvameva. Bhavabdhinauka tvameva deva bhaje bhavantam ramabhirama bhaje bhavantam Sri Sai Rama Janaki Jani Rama. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my most humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan. Sai Ram to our respected elders and my dear brothers and sisters. As we bring this insightful session on Avatar Mahima by our esteemed speaker Dr. Shubhada to a close, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to her for sharing her wisdom and reflections with us on this auspicious Avatar Declaration Day. Thank you for sharing with us sweet moments of the Avatar and his greatest gift to us, sadhana, selfless seva, and surrender. Anecdotes of doctors in Ladakh who worked in very harsh conditions was very inspiring and motivating us also to get more involved in seva activities. You rightly reminded how Swami himself set an example to guide us the right way of doing seva. I also want to thank everyone for their active participation today. Before we conclude, I would like to invite Srimati Sushila Ashwath Aunty to come forward and present a small token of our love and appreciation to Sister Dr. Shubhada. With heartfelt prayers to Swami, may he continue to bless her with more opportunities to serve at his divine lotus feet. Jai Sai Ram.